Hey guys, welcome back to Cough Country. This is Steve with your cannabis news. I'm pumped you're here on a Wednesday. We got all sorts of things to catch you up on. Let's take a look. First of all, there's trouble in paradise in the Wisconsin GOP. They just can't decide what they want to do with cannabis. Poor them. Then New Jersey's giving the green light for cannabis lounges, and Astoria and Newark look like that's leading the way. And Grandpa Joe is having some bad numbers going into an election year. But you know what I think? I think cannabis might be the thing to save him. We got all that and more coming to you on Cough Country News right now.
No sticks, no seeds, just news.
From the Cough Country News Desk, it's Steve with your cannabis news.
The great state of Wisconsin has just about come around and is ready to milk the cow of medical marijuana. But don't get too excited with all that milking going on, because Mom and Dad are fighting. Because it's a Republican plan that has the Republicans up in arms, and the Democrats are just watching this one from the sidelines. The top Republican in the Badger State has unveiled his grand plan for medical cannabis, and he's expecting his underlings to fall in line here. If it goes through, it'll be one of the most restrictive ones in the country, and my friend, that's just the way they want it. Weed isn't for fun in America's dairyland, it's for healing. Do you have anxiety? Legal weed is not for you. There are only 5 qualifying conditions, and they're no joke. You want to smoke your cannabis? What were you thinking? You might be able to smoke your nicotine, but marijuana is going to be non-smokable. And in a big controversial first, it'll all be sold through state-run dispensaries, all staffed by government. So, good. It'll run about as well as the DMV. Great. However, it'll be exempt from state taxes, so I guess that's the bone they're going to throw, huh? In the heavily Republican state, Tony Evers, the Democratic governor, is happy just to see anything pass. Even though they've been pushing for broader marijuana reform for a while, all they want to do is regulate and tax it like alcohol. No big deal. But Republicans like Voss, the Speaker of the House, are absolutely 1,000% against recreational cannabis, saying if it's going to be around, it's medical or nothing, and you better be dying. Voss is the architect of the plan, and of course, he's pissed the Democrats off with his bill, but that's the game they play, isn't it? The real fun twist here, though, is that Republicans in his own party are up in arms about the proposal. And he's telling them where they can shove it. He said officially that he has no plans to amend the bill to address Republican concerns. The rub here lies around the state-run stores. One of the tenets of republicanism is reducing the size and scope of government. So his peers are absolutely aghast that Voss would try to bring a whole industry under the lumbering machine of government. Why would we let government grow the size of government? And that's coming from the Republicans willing to compromise. There's still plenty that are just pouting in the corner. So for now, while Mom and Dad are fighting over cannabis, Wisconsinites will continue to take their $36 million in tax revenue across the border to Illinois, where it's legal. All right, guys, we'll be right back. 30 seconds, no more, no less. Stick around. We got more news.
This is a flower. Some people might try to tell you that it's a Schedule I controlled substance. They might scream drugs, drugs, drugs over and over and over again. They might put drugs in all caps. You might even start to believe that this is a drug. But it's not. This is medicine.
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Let's get back to the news. What do you say? I love recreational cannabis as much as anyone, right? But in most states, you can only consume it in private. You gotta hide your dirty little secret like that Big Mac you scarfed at 2 a.m. Well, New Jersey is joining a handful of states that are giving its people a place to be social and enjoy a little toke as well. Cannabis consumption lounges have got the green light so our Cough Country people in Jersey can come out from the basement and be a part of the world of legal cannabis. Lounges are going to have to be attached to a dispensary, which I think will work out nicely for everyone, even though medical patients will be able to bring their own stuff too. You got to be 21 or older, which makes sense, and food can't be served. Now, I know what you're thinking. This just won't do. Well, don't worry. You can also bring your own food, and the food trucks, people. Think of the possibilities. Even though businesses are saying the rules are too restrictive and they need to loosen up to make this work, Astoria and Newark, owned by Charlemagne the God and Raekwon the Chef of Wu-Tang fame, plans to be one of the first dispensaries to open a lounge above their store. And as soon as the state does what they need to do, they're ready to hit the ground running, baby. Ooh, you feel that frying pan sizzling? We're about to jump into the fire. It's an election year, people, and Grandpa Joe's numbers aren't looking too good. But cannabis might just come to his rescue since the DEA is deciding right now if they should reschedule it. And since 7 out of 10 voters support cannabis, it could be the tide that raises his ship. It's pretty hard to ignore cannabis these days. Ohio was the last state to pass recreational weed with 58% of the popular vote. It's a Republican state that's a bellwether for the country, and they are right on the sentiment with what we're all feeling. A recent poll said a whopping 70% of Americans think cannabis should be legal. People are more pro-marijuana than they are pro-Biden or Trump. 38 states are medical. Half the country is already fully legal. So I don't think we're going to be skating past the cannabis question this election like we have in the past. And Biden knows this. He's not playing, he's playing for those votes for sure. He's not too far back. He did a couple of rounds of pardons for federal low-level marijuana offenses, and each time he got a bump in approval rating. It jumped 11 points after people heard about the rescheduling review of cannabis that he initiated, but it's all especially popular with the younger voters between 18 and 25, where 83% said he should reschedule it. Gen Z is 40 million strong, and they've shown a tendency to show up at the polls at historic rates compared to previous decades. But Sleepy Joe ain't doing too great. His approval sits at a miserable 33%, where Trump was chilling at 45% at the same point in his presidency. The pardons gave him a little boost, but nothing to shore up support, with more people criticizing the move than people clapping for him. He's getting dinged for the economy, inflation, and everything else that's going wrong, and now Republicans are trying to impeach him. So he needs all the support he can get. He's been touting his pardons and scheduling initiative as victories, but he still won't come out and support legal cannabis. Legalization would be a huge win in his column and shore up the confidence of a wavering base. And if he's not careful, someone else just might legalize it for him. No one knows what Trump thinks. He supports statewide legalization, but he also made it easier to federally prosecute in a legal state. But Nikki Haley says she'll go with the scientists on this one, saying it's obviously not a Schedule I drug. So if Joe doesn't pull the trigger, she just might. Thanks so much for checking us out, guys. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, tell a friend, share with a neighbor, and check us out next time on Cough Country News. It's always no sticks, no seeds, just news around here.